এটা রেকর্ডিং শুরু হয়েছে, ঠিক আছে? So today the topics that we are going to learn, that is oligopoly. So already I have told you that oligopoly is a market structure where few firms that dominate the market, that controls the market. So let's read out the first paragraph from here. Oligopoly, it is a market structure where few large firms are dominant in the market. So the look at the word here, Fatima, that is the dominant. Okay, few large firms are dominant in the market. Firms are interdependent. Interdependent, that means there are relation with each other firms. The behavior of one firm has an influence on others. That means they are interdependent. Mostly high barriers to entry and exit operate in the market and firms. So second, that is barriers to entry is high. Okay, it means not easier to enter into the market. And firms have some control over the market. Thus, firms are price maker. So ekaneo, in this market also there are price controlling power. Firms have market power. So firms can change the market price. It can increase, decrease the market price. So when a firm has market power, that means the demand curve will be downward slope. Normally products are differentiated. So here the product of each firms, it varies from each other and prices are kept rigid to avoid price shock. One thing is to understand, it is very important. In oligopoly market structure, there is a high chance of price war. High chance of price war. Because all the firms are giant organization, they have huge market power. So if one firm wants to reduce the price, all other firms instantly follow the same thing. As a result, it creates a price war in the market. Okay. To avoid the price war, normally in oligopoly market, firms try to keep the price fixed, rigid, not to change. So price competition is not normally, it is not practiced in the oligopoly market. Rather, firms try to compete with other things that are called non-price competitions. Let's consider the example of oligopoly market. Supermarket industry, telecommunication industry, automobile industry, coffee shop like Starbucks, Costa Coffee, Cafe Nero. So these are examples of oligopoly market. Okay, in our country, okay, for example, in newspaper. Okay, so look at here, in newspaper in our countries there are so many newspapers are there, but if we consider which newspapers are dominant in the market, so in our country it will be Prothom Alo, it will be Daily Star, it will be Bangla Tribune. Okay, uh, it will be Jugantar. A few newspapers are there that dominate the market. Okay, so these are examples of oligopoly market where few firms are dominant in the market. I can tell you an example of a mobile handset. So in our country, you can see there are so many
স্যার monopoly তো fully dominant না,
dominant.
আর
So here is
oligopoly
not
হলো
one
মানে
firm. Here
few
is not
firms রা
one firm.
dominant.
Here is not one firm that dominates. Here are few firms that dominates. Let's consider the example of mobile handsets. So in our country, there are so many brands, so many companies: Samsung, iPhone, HTC, Sony, Vivo, তারপরে আর কি আছে, Oppo, and so many brands are there. But if we consider which few firms that dominate the market, that has most of the market share, so Samsung, iPhone, okay, or Vivo, Oppo, or Symphony, there will be 3 to 7 firms will be there that dominate the market. So this is the structure of oligopoly market. Okay, clear? Fatima, is it clear to you?
জি স্যার।
So few large firms dominate the market. Second is firms are interdependent. For example, if Samsung introduces a new features in their smartphone, then you will see if they are first introducing, very quickly other firms will follow it. and they will also upgrade it, their features. So interdependent, that means if one firm do something or other firms also try to copy it. They also try to introduce that thing in their product to attract also their customers. Number three, there is high barriers to entry and exit. Now we are going to learn what is barriers to entry. It means when it is difficult to enter into the market, not easier. Okay, not easier for a new firm to enter to the market. This is called barriers to entry. So there are several types of barriers to entry. Okay, so some is natural entry barriers. That is means it is natural. It's a hobby. Okay, it's natural. It will happen naturally. And some barriers are artificial barriers. So first let's learn about what are those natural barriers to entry. Economies of scale. For example, Fatima, you know that Samsung is a very large company. It's an old company. Many years it is in the market for mobile handsets. If a new firm that wants to enter into the market, join to the market, producing mobile handsets. So for a new firm, it is difficult at the beginning of their stage of production to achieve economies of scale, right, Fatima? Because you know that when a
Yes, sir.
farms uh, it becomes large in size, and in the long run, normally it enjoys economies of scale. So when a farm enjoys economies of scale, it will be easier for the farm to reduce the price. It acts as a barrier to entry for new farms because they could not enjoy economies of scale. Second is
Economics of
ownership or control of the key scale resources. Okay. So if you have a control of the key scale resources, that could be it could be act as a barriers for new firms. Okay. For example, in case of we will consider oil or petrol, few countries are there in the world who have the control of these natural resources. Okay. So if these few countries they increase the price, we have to pay high price. If they exploit, we will be exploited. Nothing to do here. Third is high setup cost. It is easy to understand. Some businesses are there where setup cost is very high, like automobile or manufacturing company. It's very high setup cost. Airlines company is very high setup cost. Okay. So
yes, sir.
mining company or extracting coal or gas or natural resources is also very high setup cost. So as the setup cost is very high, Fatima, Tafsirul. So it will be difficult for a firm to manage such a big fund. Okay. At the same time, if you stop your business at the middle of your business, it will cause a cost of incur a big loss, that is sunk cost. Your sunk cost will be very high. Sunk cost means if you want to stop your business, then the cost that will be sunk, that will be foregone from you, that will never be possible to recover, that is cost, sunk cost. So when a business has a very big amount of money as a sunk cost, then it acts as a barriers to exit. Okay, it acts as a barriers to exit. So that is called sunk cost. And high research and development cost. So that is also another point. So all of this acts as a natural barriers to entry. In some cases, there are artificial barriers. Artificial barriers means the existing firms, the existing incumbents, or the large firms who are operating the industry for many years, they create some artificial barriers. One is predatory pricing. Do you know the word
একটু
predatory?
আর্টিফিশিয়াল ব্যারিয়ারটা একটু আবার বলতে পারবেন?
When artificially large firms or existing firms create some barriers so that new firms could not enter. Okay, so this is not natural barriers like this. These are
জি স্যার।
artificial. Predatory pricing. So do you know the word of meaning predator?
ইয়েস স্যার।
খেয়ে ফেলা, শিকার করে ফেলা. So in this way, the existing incumbents or existing the monopoly or oligopoly, that the big firm, it suddenly reduces the price. As a
অনেক
result,
কম করে ফেলেন।
it acts for the small farms or other farms. It becomes very difficult. for them to run the business because they're facing a big loss. As a result, they drive out from the market. In this way, the existing incumbent, it reduces its competition, it reduces its rivals firms on the market. So this way, that is predatory pricing. Limit pricing. Second, limit pricing is a pricing that existing incumbent or the oligopoly firm it sets when it sees that a new firm is trying to enter the market. So now, to stop its entrance into the market, the oligopoly or monopoly, it reduces the price. That is the limit pricing. Okay. So here are two graphs. So this is limit pricing and this is predatory pricing. Okay, the graph of these two artificial barriers. Limit
তো
price,
সেটা শুধু LRSC, ওটা হচ্ছে লিমিট প্রাইসিং এ।
এটা হচ্ছে predatory pricing, এটা হচ্ছে limit pricing. Then predatory acquisition is same thing. Acquisition is another thing that is by forcefully. Okay, you if the incumbent or if the oligopoly firm, monopoly firm take over another its rival, predatory acquisition, forcefully you take over. Okay. Advertising is also act as a barrier to entry. If you turns your TV or if you go to internet or newspaper or billboard, everywhere you can see there are so many advertising. Unilever's and its products, they're huge advertisement. So why there are so many advertising? Because advertising attracts customers. Okay, it creates psychological impact on customers' mind. So big firms they spend billion dollars. So I think you have heard the name of General Motors, American car manufacturing company. So this automobile company spend annually $4 billion, almost $4 billion for advertising. So why this big fund? To attract customers. So when a firm makes huge advertising, it acts as a barrier for new firms to enter the market. Okay. So advertising is strong brand loyalty. All of this creates barriers for new firms to enter into the market. Okay. So when it becomes brand loyalty, the customers will be stuck with your product. They will not move. They will not shift to other products of your rivals. So they will lock in or they'll be stuck. So this is one kind of barriers to entry. So in this way, oligopoly firms they try to uh, discourage new firms or creates barriers for new firms to enter the market. So these are the features of oligopoly, characteristics of oligopoly, and these are the types of barriers to entry. So far clear to you guys? Fatima, clear? Tafsirul, is it clear to you?
Yes, sir, clear.
Tafsirul, will you give us a feedback? Thank you, Tafsirul. So, okay. So আমরা তাহলে oligopoly পড়লাম এর barriers, different types of barriers এগুলো শিখলাম, হ্যাঁ? দেখো oligopoly-র যেই characteristics গুলো এইটা খুব ভালো করে মনে রেখো। প্রথমটা হচ্ছে few firms dominate the market. Second হচ্ছে high barriers to entry. Third হচ্ছে firms are price maker. আরেকটা হচ্ছে products are interdependent and last হচ্ছে prices are rigid. Firms don't change the price. Prices are rigid. বলো তো ফাতিমা পাঁচটা মনে থাকবে? Few firms dominate the market. Firms are interdependent. high barriers to entry,
high barriers to entry or
firms are
downward
price
sloping curve.
maker, and prices are rigid. ওকে, তাহলে এই পর্যন্ত আমরা আমাদের প্রথম লেকচার ফার্স্ট পার্ট শেষ করলাম। ওকে এভরিওয়ান।